What's up, you guys? It's Josh here. Welcome back to another vlog. And in today's video, I want to talk about the idea of pain and suffering. The reason that is because whenever I catch up with some of my friends here in Miami or some friends back at home, maybe some of you guys are even watching me right now. Whenever we catch up, some of you guys constantly compare yourselves with me. You guys see the nice things. You see that, oh, Josh is living on his own in Miami. He's only 22. Drives a nice car, wears nice clothes, goes out to nice places. You guys are only seeing glimpses of my life. You're not seeing the entire thing. And whenever I encourage you guys to go after your goals, friends who are listening to me, whenever I encourage you guys to go after your goals and to achieve things, you guys just want the results, but you never want to put in the work. Because you know the work is painful, you know the work is hard, you know it's not easy, and you know it's not going to happen overnight. You already know these things. But you have to go through these things if you want to achieve the finer things in life. An achievement isn't really an achievement if there's nothing in the way of it, if there's no difficulty behind it, right? And there's a lot of behind the scenes in my life that people don't see. Like, most of the time, it's just pain and suffering. There is a reason why I'm up 3 a.m. in the morning to work on my online business, to work on content creation, to make hundreds, well, not hundreds yet, but I will be making hundreds of videos, and a lot of them are going to flop. I'm going to have a lot of sleepless nights. I'm going to have a lot of creativity blocks. There's a lot of stuff that you guys don't see, right? Pain and suffering is the reason why I'm still here in Miami in the first place. Moving to Miami on my own was not easy. I was 19 when I moved here. I didn't even have an apartment. I rented a room. The room was so freaking hot because the landlord didn't want to change the temperature. And I had to use my mini fridge and open the freezer to keep myself cool at night. I worked 2 mall jobs. I was working 7 days a week. Even up to this day, yes, I have a stable 9 to 5, but I still work 7 days a week because when I'm not working at my normal job, I'm working on this. I'm working on the channel, the business. I don't stop working, right? So pain and suffering is essential. It's what builds your character. It's what gives you strength. It gives you experience. It gives you reference to go off of. You need these things. You can't cut the corners. Like my first few months when I moved here, I was always thinking about the fastest way to make it. And I realized I was wasting so much time because the amount of effort that I put in trying to cut corners could have been effort spent into actually building solid foundation. That's what I want you to understand. Because I'll get into a few things that have kind of led me here, that have forced me. I would like to say that I was kind of forced into entrepreneurship. Thank God that I actually just ended up loving it, right? It's the reason why I took that leap to move here to Miami on my own with not really any kind of plan. It was just more of a self-belief aspect, and that came from all the pain and suffering that I've gone through in my early childhood and teenage years, right? When I put my back against the wall, when I had no choice. Because people just see the fancy shit on my Instagram, my stories. A lot of you don't know the behind the scenes of it. And I actually wrote down like a few things here on my journal that have led me into where I'm at today. The first thing that led me here was my dad passing at the age of 10. That subconsciously left me thinking about health, right? I never really took my health seriously until I got into my late teenage years. I was probably 19, 20 when I really started to take it seriously, but I guess it was just a subconscious effect. So when my dad died at 10, I realized what health implications can do and what not eating right can do. I never really acted on it until a later point in time. Like I said, probably around like 19, 20. But that definitely did something to me. And it also led my mom to working way more hours because now that she was just like the sole breadwinner of the house, it was just me and her. she had to put herself into overdrive, and just she was not really home most of the time. So that caused me to be, it kind of forced me to be more independent and, learn life on my own. I didn't really have much reference to go off of. And, even growing up, my mom and I agreed where there was just certain things that she couldn't teach me because it was really something a father that needed to be there for. So a lot of things in my life I had to learn on my own. A lot of the social problems I was facing at school, I had to learn on my own. I was being bullied. Like, how would my mom teach me how to stand up for myself? I had to figure that shit out, right? Just not fitting in, not being popular, right? And that's where this whole self-development really started, because when I started getting into sneakers, clothing, I realized all of the benefits of what it's like when you're cleaned up and you appear well. You get treated very differently. Your social positioning changes. Another thing was when I was in my teenage years and I was starting to develop, my mom started dating again, and she had a boyfriend who was cool at first, and then he started to get controlling and emotionally abusive. So I learned the feeling of tyranny in the household. I didn't like being under control. And story for another day, but I also got into debt. I ended up owing him $300 at the age of 14. My mom, I don't know what my mom's reasons were, but she didn't end up helping me with that. Maybe it was a lesson, some sort, whatever. But it forced me into earning money at such a young age. Like, $300 may not seem like a lot now, but to me it was everything at the time. I didn't have any money. I wasn't old enough to legally get a job. I didn't have any connections under the table. And it really forced me to think on how to create income. And that's when I started selling sneakers. So for some of you guys who are still watching me from high school, if you think that I started cleaning sneakers at school because I just wanted to make a lot of money, no, that was not the case. I was forced to make money. I had to come up with money. It just happened to be that after that debt was paid off, the money didn't stop coming in. I was able to make like $400 to $500 a month just from cleaning sneakers, and that funded my lifestyle in high school, where I would just go to the mall every weekend, buy new clothes, pay for my Ubers, and get around. And that really encouraged me into the concept of entrepreneurship, because I didn't like being under control. I didn't like being in debt. I didn't like owing people. It just wasn't a good feeling. And when I started that quote unquote business, yeah, it was a small stream of income, but I had a sense of control. I had a sense of optimism. Like, I felt like I felt proud because it was something that I created out of necessity, and I created a business and I created income by using this, rather than just, in my opinion, just being lazy and finding a job. I had to get creative. So there's a bunch of things that led me into choosing entrepreneurship and choosing a relatively different path than most. I don't have a college degree. I never attended college. I just went straight to work, and I'm still figuring all of this stuff out on my own. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows that you guys see. You guys see only the nice parts about my life on social media. And another thing that I want to get at in this video is that pain and suffering is the catapult to success. You have to take everything that you're going through and you have to embrace it. Like, stop trying to avoid and stop trying to dodge it. Like, you're never gonna get anywhere running away from your problems. You have to face these things and you have to find your own creative way to overcome them. Okay? Another life-changing event for me was here in Miami. My main dealership job. It didn't even pay a lot. But to me, it was everything. I wanted to move up in that company. A job that I sincerely cared about, I ended up getting fired from. I didn't know what to do. The bills didn't stop coming in. In fact, the income from that job wasn't really enough to pay the bills in the first place. So I was stacking up a lot of debt, right? There's just so many things that were going on at that time. Like that was the first like real scare in my life. I was already on my own. I was 20 years old. Yeah, I was 20 years old when I got fired. I had this apartment, a smaller studio apartment. It was an older one. It was my first one here in Miami. And then just a bunch of things went wrong. I lost like 4 to 5 grand in my FTX account when it collapsed because it collapsed around the time I was fired. What else? The rent went up by like another $200. Like I got a notice in the mail that my rent would go up by $300 after my renewal. So like a bunch of things were just happening after I got fired, and then I was just putting everything on credit while I wasn't employed, and I was just depleting my savings and whatever crypto I had left. So yeah, I've gone through a bunch of shit, and you need those kinds of experiences because those kinds of experiences give you wisdom, they give you strength, they give you more reference to go off of. So when future things do come up, when things do happen again, you're more prepared, well equipped, and you're more resilient. You have to get up and keep going. Because all of this takes time. I'm not saying just, be positive and things like that. No, it's not overnight. It's a process to change that mindset and to be willing to get back up again after you get hit. It's not easy, but you have to be willing to try. I'm up 3 a.m. in the morning to create content, to work on the online business, to develop it, to be coached. Every dollar that I earn, it either goes into bills or it gets invested back into myself. I really don't have much money to go out for leisurely activities. I can't really have fun like that at the moment. It's just something I'm sacrificing. I spent thousands into investing into my crypto portfolio and to keep it growing and maintaining. I spent thousands into a coach for my training, nutrition, recovery, coach for business to fast track this entrepreneurship. I invest literally everything back into me. So for those of you guys who are wondering what my life is like, this is what it's like. It is not easy. This is not one of those, feel good videos and, a bunch of fluff in between. I'm just telling you how it is. All that pain and suffering that you're going through right now, don't avoid it. Don't run away from it. Embrace it. Feel it. Feel the cuts. Relive the moment. Take the energy and do something positive with it. Don't dwell. We don't have enough time to dwell. Life is too short to dwell. It's even shorter being young. So if you are kind of my age, if you're a younger guy, and you're sitting there dwelling, get up off your ass and start moving. You don't have enough time to sit there and be sorry for yourself. This time will fly. I could have sworn I was just 19 yesterday in that fucking room. Time goes by so quick, and even quicker in your younger ages. I'm 22 right now, but I'm milking every fucking minute of this. And even though there's a lot of pain and suffering involved, I love the journey. I love everything about it. I love what I'm learning. I love what I'm becoming. That's all I really have in today's video. And I hope you took away something, and I hope that this kind of brings clarity to whatever it is that you're going through, if you're going through something. Take the pain and suffering, build something with it. Take off with it. Hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.